Rajdeep, welcome. It's great honor and privilege for us to have you here. I wanted to just start off by actually seeing that your career maps very easily onto the changes in the media landscape itself. You started as a print journalist, then you went on to become the foremost TV anchor, and then, of course, now on social media as well. So, could you tell us a little bit how you assess the work in these three mediums?
First of all, thank you very much for having me, Shruti and Orgo. Indian elections, irrespective of the changing media world, have remained, to quote the Prime Minister, a festival of democracy. I mean, the democracy part we can question and challenge, and whether that democracy is increasingly manipulated, whether that democracy really has the true meaning that it should. But it is a festival. What has happened, though, of course, is media and technology have forced the clever politician to adjust and be flexible like the clever journalist. You change with the times. And I think the clever politicians therefore use WhatsApp much more. You've got the Prime Minister doing video conferences rather than having to go now and address a rally. He can just sit in the Prime Minister's office and just get connected to 500 different points in the country. So I think that's what's changed, the ability of the politician to use the media better, to use technology, to use these 400 plus private television news channels to send out messaging, to have WhatsApp groups right down to every booth level, and we are talking of 9 lakh plus booths. So I think it's the ability to change in terms of using the technology, which is interesting to observe. But the basics of an Indian election, that you need to go and get that last mile voter and get him to the booth and vote for you, remain the same.
So the face-to-face interaction or the interaction with the public still has a premium in an Indian campaign.
Today, you don't always have to go to every mohalla to connect to every voter. You can use your booth workers more effectively to do that, or you can use WhatsApp messaging to connect and give a sort of personal touch to the message. So the face-to-face interaction may have reduced, but you can't do without it. You still need to be seen on the street by your voters. That does matter. It matters more in an MLA election than an MP election. I think an MP election, people now, the sense one gets is often vote for the candidate at the top, the leader of a party, who they want as their prime minister, or who they want, maybe in some instances, their chief minister, much more than who they want as their legislator or their parliamentarian.
Do you think news television has become less important over the last 5 years?
At the end of the day, you have 400 plus TV news channels. So TV has got more fragmented. While a Facebook account of a politician or a Twitter account of a politician can give that politician the capacity to reach instantly to millions of people in a more personalized and possibly less fragmented manner. Ditto the case with these WhatsApp groups that political parties organize. So I think TV now faces competition compared to 2014. 2014, I think TV was the king of the ring. I think 2014 was India's first big election fought almost entirely
for television.
For television. I think in 2019, you're moving towards a multimedia space where television is just one of the various weapons available to you to win the voter.
But it's very interesting what you say. Do you think then social media enables the personalization of politics in the sense that it is what is leading to the rise of, as it were, what is now being called a presidential campaign in India? We saw that in 2014. And elsewhere as well, the large strongmen leaders. And it's kind of related to a follow-up question that, do you think that social media works better, or why do you think right-wing parties and groups have been able to better use social media?
Great question, and I think that really is the nub of the issue. Look at what the Prime Minister is doing at the moment with his Main Bhi Chaukidar campaign. He has got all his ministers and party leaders and followers to change their Twitter handle in a way to Chaukidar, and the name of the individual. So thereby getting the word Chaukidar to resonate in this large social media universe space, and give a sense that you too, as a voter, as a citizen, are somewhere part of the Prime Minister's agenda for change. And I think strongmen leaders are able to do that more effectively because their entire politics works around the personality. They are not creatures of a party system. Mr. Modi is an interesting example. Is interesting in that respect because he's emerged through the party system as a pracharak, as an RSS man who then was loaned to the BJP. But his style is very personalized.
Yes.
He is less of a believer in the collective as much as he is in the individual. And therefore, Twitter, Facebook, the Facebook page of the Prime Minister, the
And
Twitter
the
handle,
apps.
and the apps that he has, the Namo app. So he uses the Namo app as a way of creating a community of Namo followers. He is using Twitter and as now creating a community of chowkidars, giving a sense that we are all in this project together. It's a very, very clever and effective way of doing politics. And strongmen are perhaps better poised to do this. We've seen it in Brazil. We've seen it in the US.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines, we're seeing the rise of this right-wing strongman in an age where technology allows you to control the media narrative through these personalized forms, your app, your Twitter, your Facebook handle.
But then there does seem to be a change from what you've written in your 2014 book. Because then it seems to me that social media is basically making elections a matter of spin. Who can spin better? Because it's personalized, the strongmen are dominating. It seems to me that it's about whoever has a better PR machinery, whoever can spin better, that wins social media and consequently has a great chance of winning the elections.
I think, Orgo, let's separate 2 points here. I think the media spin, which you can do very effectively through social media, manipulate the public discourse, allows you, in a sense, to dominate the political narrative or set the political narrative, as the Prime Minister is doing at the moment with his Chowkidar agenda. Does it win you votes? Is it decisive to win you an election in rural Chhattisgarh, in rural Jharkhand, in an area where, in Marathwada, where there have been 3 successive years of drought? Can it ensure that voter forgets all the local issues of the time and is only part of this national mission and chooses to vote for you for that? That is still up for question. I think the jury is still out on that limited point of whether this media narrative or media spin that you are successfully able to create using social media will enable you to actually win an election. I think in that sense, 2019 is a test case. Because if that does happen and the BJP does score a big victory in this election, then I think you will find others trying to replicate it at various levels.